Wow, not even a struggle. Can you hear this? You can, right? It's like a buzzing sound. And if I place this flame over here, you can see some kind of wind is being produced, but nothing is moving. So what's going on?
If I lower the lights, you can see this blue aura right here. This is an electrical discharge, and the wind is called ionic wind. Ionic wind is created when you shoot electrons from one place to the other. The electrons collide with the air molecules that are projected in this direction. If you take this simple design and you stack a bunch of wires in tubes, you can actually get a pretty decent fan. That's what I did a few videos ago, but all of this got me thinking.
What if I try to turn this bladeless fan into an ionic thruster?
This video was brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
If I want to turn this into a jet engine, I need to change the design into something that is actually able to focus the flow of air. And a good starting point, it's a simple cable and tube.
The electrons push the air into the tube and generate a flow of air inside the tube.
This design is not bad, it's decent, but there's a problem.
This is a high voltage transformer you can get cheaply at Amazon. Links in the description. You can apply about 5 volts to this end and you get thousands of volts on the other end. This causes the electrons to jump from one side to the other. As you can see, this discharge is not the same as the other one. That's because the first one is called a corona discharge, and this kind is the one that generates wind. The other one does not. With the cable in tube, I get a lot of sparks jumping when I increase the voltage a little bit. The edge of the tube is too sharp, and the distance between the wires in the tube is hard to control. This is another design. For the negative pole, I'm using a nickel strip that I bent around the tube and glued. Then I used a regular pair of scissors to create some spikes. And that's important because on the negative side, you want a pointy thing.
On the positive side, you actually need the exact opposite, a very roundy, smooth surface, just like this metal ring.
Because of the round ring, this design doesn't spark with a higher voltage, but also doesn't put out as much air because it doesn't have the tube to focus the air.
I think the best solution is to combine both designs, a tube with round edges. But wait a second, because I have another problem.
This type of thruster doesn't produce a lot of thrust, so I need to make it as light as I can. And the heaviest thing on this setup is actually the transformer. This transformer has a lot of epoxy resin to protect the circuit, what makes it heavy. But there's a lighter alternative, like literally a lighter, a plasma lighter. I disassembled the plasma lighter and inside there's a high voltage circuit and a cute battery. This is much lighter, but unfortunately, I tested it and it doesn't really work that well. I think it doesn't produce high voltage enough, so I'm stuck with this. I even tried to use sulfuric acid to remove the epoxy in hopes of getting some of the weight out of the transformer. The sulfuric acid did a great job. It obliterated all of the epoxy in one day, and it worked. The weight got down, but also I think I destroyed the circuit because it's no longer working. I can't complain about the nickel strip spiky cylinder, that's very light, but the curtain ring is solid metal. I think I can improve on that. I found this process called electroplating, in which you can create a thin layer of metal on top of almost anything, like a nut, a pen cap, or even a disgusting tomato. This works by running an electric current through copper sulfate, which is really easy to find since it's a fertilizer. You can connect the positive to a piece of copper that you dip inside the sulfate and the negative to your part. But here's the tricky bit. The part that you dip inside the sulfate needs to have a conductive surface, which a tomato has not. What you do is you use this graphite spray, link in the description, to paint the tomato. Graphite is conductive enough, and if you do everything right, you end up with a metal tomato, which is still disgusting. Here are some hot tips. Make sure the current never goes above 1 ampere and swirl the part around during the entire process.
Now, why am I talking about electroplating? Well, what if instead of using a solid metal part, I 3D print a light resin part, and then I use electroplating to add a thin layer of copper around it to make it conductive? Let's give it a try. Okie dokie. So everything is assembled. I basically glued the entire design on top of the transformer, and I connected everything to a lithium-ion battery and a switch. So let's give it a test.
Look at that! At least it's making noise. Let's see if it can put out the candle.
Wow, not even a struggle. Let's try to put it farther away. Okay, I guess I'll put it even farther away. Oh, this is new. This is like 40 centimeters of distance. That's insane.
Sponsor time.
You're in an airplane, you forgot to download something to watch. What do? You play Raid Shadow Legends! Of course, with awesome visuals, loads of powerful champions, challenging PvE bosses, and tactical PvP content. One of the toughest bosses in Raid is Hydra.
One of the heads is the head of suffering. It's all about making you suffer.
With all this exciting stuff coming to Raid and more, if you haven't started playing yet, what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We're talking about Epic Champion Drake, the one from the Lizardman faction,
And new players can get one of the best epic champions Stag Knight, as well as a skin for him designed by John Tron. Just use the promo code JTSKIN before October the 7th.
Back to the video. This is working pretty well. I'm actually proud of myself. But I need to put this on something to make sure it has thrust. And I think I'm gonna start with a boat. Okay, time for the magic.
Oh, it's going! It's going alright. Slowly, but steadily. Nice.
This little thing surprised me, it worked pretty well. But I still have a lot of space here and here, so I think I'm gonna add 2 more modules to see if it goes faster. Let's do that.
This time I used my new CNC machine just because, well, I'm lazy. Also, this is so easy to use that even I'm qualified. It's called Carvera, which sounds like someone from the US trying to say carver in Spanish, and that for some reason it's funny to me. Anyway.
Oh god, this is barely floating. It's going? I think it's going faster this time. What do you think, Katarina? Because I think it was basically the same time.
I was thinking, now that I've created this light design, I could probably try to make something that flies. I think an airplane is gonna be a tall order, especially because I don't know how to build them. But what I could do is try to build a low-cost Zeppelin.
Using helium balloons. Banana!
Helium gas is lighter than air, so if you fill up a regular balloon with it, it floats. A regular balloon of helium can lift about 6 grams, so I need a bigger balloon. But don't worry, I got one.
Moment of truth. I'm gonna try to turn on the switch without shocking myself. And letting it go. There he goes! Look at it!
It's falling a little bit, but it's really hard to kind of maintain it at a neutral buoyancy.
Let me just be very clear. What I just did is very unsafe. I don't recommend you do this at home. But if you insist on doing it, I'll put links in the description down below for everything you need. You might have noticed that I used a 3D printer for this project, and I'm aware not everyone has a 3D printer at home. That's the reason why I like to give them away in my videos. On my last video I gave away a 3D printer to the most liked comment suggesting a theme for a future video. The winner was Elias. If you also want to win a 3D printer, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and post a comment suggesting a theme for a future video. The most liked comment will win a brand new 3D printer. Well, this is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, tomatoes are disgusting. See ya! Ouch!
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh my god, I have so much helium in my lungs.
Oh my god. I hate tomatoes so much. I made such a good design. Good design.